Then also, I have to introduce this concept as well. Let's say I have small store is selling t-shirts, this kind of t-shirts. Yesterday, actually I sold $1,000. That's our revenue. Under the service industry, we use service revenue. But merchandising industry, we record as a sales revenue. But in real field, nobody says sales revenue, just sales. When we say just sales, it represents sales. So, I sold $1,000 yesterday. That means my revenue was $1,000. No argument. Clear. What about this? This morning, a couple of customers from yesterday, they came and asked to return. So, return was $200. Based on our return policy, yeah. Then, the other customer actually came. Then they asked blue t-shirts, but I gave green one. So they want to return it. I don't have blue one right now. So in order to return the green t-shirts, I suggested, why don't you keep green one with 20% discount I can offer you. So if the customer accepted, then we're not gonna collect that 20%. Let's say that's $40. That's what we call allowance. Yesterday, in order to promote a sale, I gave additional 10% discount when they purchase the second one. So total discount I offered yesterday was $100. We all know the discount. From the sale, the beginning, we call gross sale, I expected to collect $1,000 to receive. That's my revenue, $1,000. Credit card doesn't matter. So that was my revenue. But I accept to return $200. And then I granted allowance $40. Also $100 for discount. Then, how much is my revenue? What's the real amount of my revenue? We have to deduct $340, right? So 660, right? That's the real amount of my revenue. So we use sales as a revenue account, return and allowance as a one account, sales, return and allowance. Discount, sales, discount. So true value of my revenue finally we call net sales. Again, sales minus sales return and allowance and sales discount. Finally, we can get net sales. That's the real true amount of revenue we can collect, right? That's what we call gross sale. Gross sale. Okay. Next, new concept. We need to discuss this one as well. Oh no, I'm going to use one. FOB shipping point or destination point. What is that? What's the abbreviation of FOB? Freight on board. That's freight charge agreement between buyer and seller. Who's going to pay for the delivery cost? So when you buy something from Amazon or somewhere, you need to pay for delivery, right? FOB shipping point or FOB destination point. Based on the agreement, buyer has to pay for the freight, seller has to pay for the freight. How? If we have FOB shipping point, FOB shipping point, let's say that's seller and buyer. If they made an agreement between buyer and seller as FOB shipping point, then who's going to pay for the freight charge? Buyer is going to pay. If it's FOB destination point, their agreement, then who's going to pay? Seller has to pay. It's confused. So why don't we change? As I said, that's originally freight on board. Let's say F. Change F as freight from freight to free. Free on board. Shipping point. That means what's a shipping point? Seller's point, that's a shipping point, right? Seller has to ship the product. So if free on board seller's point, that means who's going to pay? Buyer has to pay. If free on board destination point means buyer's point, right? So who's going to pay? Seller has to pay. It's really confused, but it's a really, really crucial point. It's easy to make a mistake, and then once we make a mistake, our accounting record is going to be messed up. We're going to discuss this further in a couple of weeks. Let's say, why it's so important? That's your inventory. Here is Pacific Ocean. So the goods, your goods, let's say your seller, in the middle of Pacific Ocean. Then something happened. So under the water, under the sea, who's going to take the responsibility? Who's going to lose this inventory? Based on what? This one. If under FOB shipping point, if under destination point, the insurance owner is different because of the ownership of this inventory. That's why understanding FOB shipping and destination freight agreement is really, really crucial point as an accountant. Okay? One more. Language of accounting is the language of business. That's new language. That's how we talk. That's how we communicate. $210 net 30. $210 net 30. What's this? That's what we call discount agreement. Between buyer and seller, if buyer pays the balance in 10 days, seller is going to grant 2% discount. In 30 days, no discount net. That's what it says. EOM, maybe that's end of month. If you pay end of the month, maybe 2%, maybe net. Same thing, right? That's how we talk. 2% discount if buyer pays in 10 days. That's a discount agreement between them. 2% discount is not big amount of discount you think, right? But it's a really, really huge amount as a business point of view. Not exactly, but if we can get the 2% in 10 days, technically, let's say we have 200 business days in a year. That means we can get 200. So 40% discount. How much purchase as a business? 1 million? 10 million? Buyer and sellers? If we can get 40% per year, that's huge amount. So I have a lot of things to want to discuss about this one. I hope we can have opportunity to discuss more about that. Anyway, discount agreement 210 net 30. That's how we talk, and then how we write, and then how we make agreement. Okay. So those are the brand new concept under merchandising industry we need to understand before we start to record as an accountant's point of view. Okay.